listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The ecosystem approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Today, we're going to talk about the ecosystem approach. If you have been listening for a while, you may have a general understanding of what we do, but you may truly not understand what it means to live as an ecosystem.
Yes.
It is the most powerful and empowered way to live. The toxic program is present every day in our lives, but it is largely invisible. We'll talk about the ecosystem approach, we'll talk about how the ecosystem approach is truly perfect for you and is different than self-improvement and self-empowerment programs today. Stay tuned to find out more. We are married intuitives with over 25 years experience who created the ecosystem approach. This is a groundbreaking way to see yourself in this age of Aquarius. We help you unleash healing and potential that is unknown today and is totally unique to you personally. This is not your typical type of energy work. We help you with life-changing internal discovery that is powerful, rational, and practical and useful for everyday life. Jason, what is the ecosystem approach?
We're going to start with the hard question from the very beginning. It is a way to see human beings and yourself as an ecosystem instead of a machine that needs to be programmed. It's based on the idea that an ecosystem, you don't need to be motivated, use self-discipline or self-control, or be instructed what to do or how to think. And just like an ecosystem, when you remove the toxics, the ecosystem will flourish and develop on its own. You don't have to motivate it.
Right.
You don't have to use self-discipline. Ecosystems are sustainable when allowed to be natural and in the way they are designed.
Yes.
So Patricia's a big gardener. She would never think to go out to her garden and try and motivate the tomatoes. I mean, I know it sounds stupid, right? You know that once you put a tomato plant in the ground.
Correct.
You give it the fertilizer and the water and the sun that it needs.
And the soil.
Yes. It'll just, it doesn't have to be motivated.
No,
it'll just say, yeah,
flourish.
Give it to me. Yeah.
But I have a little tiny bit of a story. Anybody who does any gardening knows that you put your garden in the first year, and then the second year, you kind of get what's known as volunteers. And I happen to love sunflowers. And I have found sunflowers all over my yard. And so I transplanted, unfortunately, it was a very hot, warm day. I didn't realize it was going to be that hot. And I transplanted a sunflower. And at the end of the first day, I watered it and did all the things that you're supposed to do. By the end of the first day, boy, I saw it drooping, and I thought, well, okay, if it isn't going to make it then, but you know what? I'm just going to activate some life force and talk to that plant just a little bit. And so the next day, it was still not a happy camper. The end of that next day, yes, of course, I watered and made sure it was going to have enough water, all that sort of thing. And then I activated life force again. And my plant started out to be about 7 inches tall. And now my plant is now about 10 or 12 inches tall. So I want you to know life force. And yes, we do have to have all the things that we need. And when you're an ecosystem, you need things such as water and food. Yes, all of those things.
Depending on the ecosystem.
Yeah. Well, if food comes in different forms.
Yes.
And that sort of thing. But the bottom line, what I'm getting at is that we are all ecosystems. And when we start to remove negative energy, and that's what we help people with, it is an amazing way for people to flourish.
But here's the point, okay?
Okay.
When you remove toxic energies from human beings,
Yes.
we don't, and a lot of these toxic energies are completely invisible.
Oh, by all means. In fact, most of them are.
Then we start to have an understanding of who we are.
Yes.
And start to act in the world authentically and begin to do our purpose.
Yes.
We can't help it. Just like the sunflower or the tomato plant, once you give it what it needs, it goes.
It goes.
It doesn't need to be motivated. It doesn't need self-discipline.
Yeah.
It doesn't need self-control. It doesn't need.
Well, in fact, most of them, I'm talking about the plants, will go out of control.
Exactly.
Because they have all that they need.
There's so much energy in an ecosystem just naturally.
Yes. It's
so
wonderful.
Here's the definition of an ecosystem: a complex community of organisms and its environment functioning as an ecological unit.
Yes.
We see human beings as ecosystems, and I'm kind of shocked. I'm actually kind of flabbergasted that that's not commonly accepted.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's called programming.
It's called programming. I mean, I would think, that a human body is a integral ecosystem made up of many different parts that all works together in an amazing way and just grows and develops as it should. Yes. But the problem is we don't understand what the toxics are. We don't understand. And those toxics that we talk about with the ecosystem approach, and this is why we take a metaphysical approach to this.
That's correct.
Are often in our subtle energies. They're not tangible energies. They're energies that can be perceived via intuition.
Correct.
But they don't exist in the physical dimension. Yes. So when you have toxic shame, for example, or toxic stress and anxiety, it's an energy. When you start removing that, oh my gosh, what happens is things start to happen within the human being. We don't ever talk about self-discipline or self-control or tell people how to think or how to feel. That's just an indication that your ecosystem isn't working the way it's supposed to.
Or you could say out of balance.
Yes.
And that would be a simpler way to say it.
Yes.
Yes.
So there isn't the essential part to a human ecosystem is the energy part, the subtle energy part.
That is correct.
And that's what we use. And that's why, we talk about this. We just, you just said it. We're married intuitives. The reason we're intuitives to present this to you is because you have to be intuitive to see the rest of that ecosystem.
Well, let me just jump in and say everyone has intuition.
Yes.
But it's been programmed either out of us or been layered over with toxic energies, such as beliefs and rules that say you're not allowed to use that part of yourself.
We're told to say,
excuse me?
The answers to life are outside of ourselves.
Yes.
So if you would say, what's truly radical about the ecosystem approach? And here it is.
Okay.
In this time when people seek to be natural and organic,
yes,
we continue to unconsciously treat ourselves like machines.
Yes.
It's the most inorganic thing you can do. It's the ultimate irony. And part of that is using self-discipline, motivation.
Correct.
Self-control, telling people how to feel and how to think.
Correct.
If you have a problem, think this way. If you have a problem, feel this, or look at it from this perspective.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. You as an ecosystem doesn't need to be told how to think and feel. It needs to be uncovered. And then how you authentically feel.
There you go.
Where you're going to go and how you're going to apply that in the world. Yeah. The best example of this irony is traditional medicine. All the science that we have about ecosystems, but it's not applied to human beings.
Not at all.
And with traditional medicine, it's about specialties.
Yes.
You have a specialty for this and specialty for this.
Yes.
And, an ecosystem works holistically. It always works holistically.
That's correct.
So, but when you go to a doctor, he's thinking or she's thinking about this specialty, and is this in my scope of practice, or should I send you to someone else who's a different scope of practice? And if those overlap, what do you do?
Yeah,
it's been normalized to treat people like a machine.
Yeah.
And so most people wouldn't know where to begin to treat how to treat themselves like an ecosystem because we've been taught to do it like a machine.
Well, and I just want to put in there that when we're taught to do it like a machine, that means that things that we innately feel or have understanding of is pushed aside and discounted.
Exactly.
And that doesn't serve.
So a machine is programmed and then it's pushed, then it's manipulated.
And then it does what?
It's programmed.
And it breaks.
Yes. After a certain period of time, machines always wear out.
That's correct.
Told how to act and how to think and behave. Those are all programming things.
That's exactly right.
We're going to talk some more about this in the next segment. It's really exciting.
So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
The ecosystem approach sees humans as ecosystems, not machines to be programmed. Ecosystems do not need to be programmed, motivated, encouraged to be disciplined, or told what to think. They naturally grow and develop according to their unique nature in ways that are amazing and unlike any type of human growth or development present today.
Correct.
Ecosystems are sustainable and when allowed to be natural in a way that they were designed. Human beings who treat themselves like ecosystems get better with age. They become healthier, both physically and mentally. The ultimate irony is that in this time of seeking to be more natural in the world, we still act and treat ourselves like machines.
In the next segment, we're going to use an example in the natural world to use as a metaphor to describe the power and amazing possibilities when you treat yourself like an ecosystem. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to use an example in the natural world to use as a metaphor to describe the power and amazing possibilities when you treat yourself like an ecosystem. Jason, why is the natural world such a good example of how the ecosystem approach works?
Let me give you an example.
All right.
You know, the power of life and life force is what we tap into using the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
You know, because you're a gardener and we've been looking at this for a while, and it just fascinates me, even though I'm not.
Me too.
I don't really have my hand in the soil like Patricia does.
I do make him carry a bag of soil or
that sort of thing.
You know, that sort of thing for me, which is very nice of him to do.
But I've seen these amazing examples of permaculture, agroforestry, where they take land that's barren.
Yes.
It's like a desert. It's a few tumbleweed. There's nothing on it.
Yes.
And seemingly useless. And by applying natural principles, they restore this land to a lush green oasis. And I think that's amazing.
So do I.
And I know, let me say it this way. We've seen this for as long as we've been doing this work, that so many people who have been, who the world culturally has tried to program.
Correct.
Have been cast aside, have become barren, have just like that piece of land.
Yes.
Because they couldn't be programmed. They were considered to be a failure. It was a form of shame. You know, all the drug abuse and drug addiction that we have is, to me, is ecosystems, and not even just drug. Those are extremes. People who live in the world and lack that purpose, lack that knowing of who they are and what they're doing here. And just muddle through life, whether they make money or not.
Correct.
They just go through the motions, and then when they stop and they retire, we see this all around us.
Yes.
All the examples that people retire and they just start to break down. The machine starts to get rusty. It's, you know, the parts, you can't replace the parts fast enough.
And I want to say people believe that they're machines. They've been trained
Yes.
that they're machines. And so that breaking down to them, just
That's the way it is.
well, I was going to say they see it as being acceptable. And I want you to know, I don't.
So here's the best example.
Okay.
If you compare an oak tree, we have a lot of oak trees where we live.
Yes.
And an oak tree is an ecosystem in itself.
Yes.
It survives in an ecosystem.
Yes.
But an oak tree, as it gets older, gets stronger, gets bigger.
It thrives.
It's more solid.
And the other thing is we do live in an area where oak trees anywhere from 50 to 150 years old is an average.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
They're amazing.
Yes.
Talk about hugging a tree. They have this energy about them.
That's true.
That just keeps getting better and better. But when we look around and see other people as they age, they're not getting better.
No.
They're breaking down.
Yes.
Like a machine, like a car.
Yeah.
So if you could compare an oak tree to a car is a machine. It doesn't last forever. 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles.
Okay.
Even the ones that last for a long time, 500,000 miles, you can supercharge it. You can drive it so it runs really fast.
Yes.
But when you do those kinds of things to a race car, it breaks down even faster.
That's correct.
It wears out faster.
Yes.
And just think of how many people, those hard driving, hard charging people in the corporate world are saying, yeah, I'm going to push myself, drive myself, motivate myself, use discipline. And then they start to break down, or they say, I don't have any meaning in my life, blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
Contrast this to an oak tree. It just lives. It gets stronger. It contributes to the ecosystem.
Well, and I was going to say it has a purpose.
It has a purpose.
Yes.
And 10 years later, 20 years later, it doesn't matter. It's just better and better and better.
Yes.
And frankly, since we've been working on our ecosystem, our personal ecosystems, with my mom in this house and with each other and for us individually, we're seeing changes in ourselves that are uncommon.
Very much.
And your family, who's known you all your life.
Yes.
You look at the people around you as they age, they're not getting healthier.
No.
They're not getting stronger.
Yes.
They're not getting more wise. They're becoming more cantankerous, difficult.
Yes.
Mom can be difficult. And when we see that as an energy, we remove it. It's a toxic in her
the
ecosystem.
Next thing she's happy and thriving in the day. It's pretty awesome.
Yes. So, I've seen so many, there's some really interesting videos on YouTube.
Yes.
About monoculture, which is the way we farm now, which is one crop at a time.
Yes.
And when you do that
in large fields,
you use chemical sprays to keep the bugs down. But after a certain period of time, monoculture breaks down the soil.
Oh,
the soil becomes barren.
Absolutely.
Even if you have water and those types of things, where agroforestry is a new term. It's where you combine different plants. So instead of having the soil break down, you rotate crops.
That's correct.
You plant compatible plants with each other.
Correct.
So that the shade of one tree can shade a plant that needs
shade at a certain time of the day.
Exactly.
And a really good example, even though many of you are not gardeners, everybody does know what lettuce is, and I'm assuming most people know what a sunflower looks like. There are different sunflowers and different types of lettuce. But I didn't know this until we were watching one of those videos, and it made me go, oh my gosh, exactly. I have everything I need. I just need to put things in a better place. And in other words, sunflowers can actually protect the lettuce when the sun gets really, really hot, because the sun can burn lettuce.
It's
easily.
amazing.
Yeah.
So you have the sunflower and this plant that's providing shade for the
But
lettuce.
exactly.
You know,
I get to eat the lettuce. The birds can eat the sunflower and stay out of my lettuce. And it's a win-win.
it is a win-win, and
Yes.
it's so amazing. So when you see these ecosystems together, working together,
Oh, it's awesome.
it's awesome. But you could do that for yourself. That's the whole point to the show today.
Yes.
You know, when you see someone's personal ecosystem that's maybe a barren wasteland, or they feel it's like a barren wasteland,
Or they're feeling broken down.
yes, and you take away the negative energy, the toxics, and frankly, it takes a while. But it's just like, in fact, there's a great example.
Okay.
Of there's a farm down in Mexico,
Yeah.
Baja California.
Yeah.
And I guess it's 10 years old now, but
no, it's older than that, but go ahead.
They took this piece of basically desert land,
exactly,
and turned it into an oasis. And not only is there enough food to feed themselves, but then they created a restaurant.
But they also started feeding the communities
around them.
And I'm sorry, this is very exciting to me, because they don't use chemicals. I'll bet I want to say it with that. They don't use chemicals. They understand rotating of crops, and
use little water,
and use very little water, which we saw pictures of the beginning and now the end, or not the end, but where it's at today. But this is more than a 6-figure business per year, and they're employing hundreds of people.
The abundance that happens with a healthy ecosystem is amazing.
And you can do the same for you. I'm sorry.
Yes, for yourself. Oh my gosh. You know, when you start taking away that negative energy, the problem is that it takes a while.
Yeah, it does.
Most people, if they started a garden, they want it to produce right away. They want it to produce,
hey, I just want to see if it'll grow from one day to the next.
Now, how long have we had your garden?
Well, it'll be actually 4.5 years, and it was completely by mistake that I even started it. I was very, very busy. We had just moved in, that kind of thing. And I wasn't going to do any sort of a garden because the gophers are so bad here. So we started, it just happened that there were 3 stock tanks. The person that lived here before had horses, and of course they're for watering and feeding. And my brother-in-law said, why don't you just put some dirt in there and see what happens? And I did. And I have to tell you, it is in the perfect place. And my garden has thrived unbelievably every single year.
And each year we're learning a little bit more, and
absolutely,
but it's getting better and better.
And the food is better and better.
So to compare that,
yes,
we started the ecosystem approach 25 years ago.
Yes,
we would never go back to being in our physical body ecosystems like we were 25 years ago.
No,
even though we would have been younger,
yes,
25 years younger. This is so much better to function
exactly
in this ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I'm looking forward to the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years
Me too.
of my life. And I'm old.
You are not.
I'm 71. So, this idea, but I see my ecosystem's getting better.
Yes.
I look at my health things as part of my ecosystem, and I remove the negative energy, and we're able to overcome a lot of health things.
Exactly. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Natural ecosystems that are healthy never need to be pushed, driven, motivated. Life force takes over and continues to create and manifest within this ecosystem over and over again.
Yes.
The metaphor of an oak tree compared to a car, which helps contrast the machine with a natural ecosystem. A machine breaks down over time and wears out, where an oak tree, as it ages, just gets stronger and bigger and healthier. Trees don't wear out, although they become diseased and die, but a healthy tree or an ecosystem continues to thrive and grow.
Correct.
There have been some amazing examples of barren land that is dead and useless being transformed into lush oases. This is a perfect example of what can happen with a human being that acts like an ecosystem versus treating themselves like a machine. Transforming barren land can take time, but once a healthy ecosystem is established, it thrives with little help or intervention. Human beings need to treat themselves like an ecosystem to capture the huge benefit and potential and possibilities for individuals, for human collectively.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the most powerful and valuable part of your personal ecosystem that science and self-improvement and self-help ignores. Our perspective is groundbreaking and is the missing piece for true human evolution and development. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the most powerful and valuable part of your personal ecosystem that science and almost all self-improvement and self-help ignores. Our perspective is groundbreaking and is the missing piece to true human evolution and development. Okay, Jason, what is the most valuable part of your personal ecosystem that is often ignored?
It's your soul or essence.
Ah, yes, of course.
When you look at someone's ecosystem, and we do because we're intuitive and we can see,
Yes.
we see someone's soul.
Yes,
And we've done a lot of shows about this. We're not going to go all into detail, but we see that most people's soul or essence is sick, has toxics attached to it.
Correct. Compromised.
That's where they reside. There's a YouTuber that we just found. I just found her. She talks about gardening without gardening without water and not having to weed your garden, you know. And she's very natural, very organic. And then the part that she has a sponsor, which is the online therapy.
Yeah, the mental health
therapy. And I'm sitting here watching this and saying, oh my gosh, she's trying to be organic on one hand, which she does
a beautiful job, by the way.
But she missed the whole point about herself, that the toxic, she struggles with depression, manic depressive disorder.
Yeah.
And that's a toxic energy attached to your essence.
Yes.
You know,
and it can be removed.
It can be removed. Now, it can take a while.
Of course.
It
didn't get there overnight.
It didn't get there overnight, and you could, but you can start to remove this, and as you make that ecosystem more and more healthy,
yes,
it's a way of dealing with those crazy emotions.
Yes.
In a positive way. It's again, I'm flabbergasted because people don't see the toxics that are right there that we see as so obvious.
Yes.
And we have to be intuitive to do this. That's how we know this. We have the expertise that we do, because this wouldn't show in the tangible world.
Meaning in an X-ray or in that sort of thing. And yet when you look at somebody who's had an X-ray and they have cancer, for instance, that picture that people look at about themselves, they immediately start to panic instead of going, well, wait a minute, I can remove this. I can take away this.
Because they don't see that negative energy attachment to that tumor or whatever it is.
Exactly. How
does the soul or essence work? The essence carries the knowing of your unique purpose and direction.
Correct.
It's very, very powerful. It is constantly communicating to you that information, but you need to know how to listen. we're not taught how to listen. We're
You're
taught
not.
to establish our goals and do our vision boards and push and drive
That
ourselves
is correct.
for those goals. We never say, well, is this the best goal for me?
Correct.
Is this really who I am and what I want to do in the world?
Yes.
And it rarely tells you directly or clearly, like, oh, you're being stupid. It uses hunches, feelings, impressions, synchronicities, and gut feelings. It also uses mental pictures, emotional pictures, like for you, taste and smell.
Yes.
I don't have intuition via taste and smell. Patricia does. It communicates via intuition, and the way it communicates is always unique to you. So the way she gets her impressions
is not the way he does.
It's different,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing wrong with that. It's just we're different human beings. We're different ecosystems.
Yes, and us as a team is pretty awesome.
Yes. So, and we work together as ecosystems, and it is pretty awesome. But being intuitive is essential for being able to connect with that soul.
Yes.
The soul is the guru for you. We all talk about having a mentor, about learning this course, or having someone who's accomplished be the expert in our life.
Yes.
No, the expert in your life is inside of you already. It's your essence.
Right. Well, and Jason asked me a question. What's one of the most common questions that we get? And I have to say, one of the biggest ones that I've had through the years is, what's my purpose?
Yes.
And one of the things,
or who am I?
Who am I? What is my purpose?
Yes.
Exactly. And the bottom line is that when you start removing the negative energies that are standing in the way, meaning they don't give you a clear picture of who you are, of what your actual purpose is.
Those negative energies distort the communication from your essence.
That's correct.
So
but the ecosystem approach helps you remove those negative energies.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we're not talking about how to do that today. We're just talking about that it's doable. We do it. We've been doing it for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
But like an ecosystem, you can't just plant a tomato plant and say, I want tomatoes tomorrow. It takes a while for it to grow and develop. And
we do all have a process in which we grow in.
Yes.
And
there's a lot of negative health conditions like cancer, any sort of disease.
Correct.
That happens when the essence is trying to direct us in one way and we're going in another.
Correct.
And people say, well, I got cancer, so I made a lifestyle change. Well, that's great. Were you talking to your essence when you did that change?
Right.
Or are you just guessing?
Yeah.
So,
good one.
We watch Grey's Anatomy every night with Mom.
Yes.
And so we see all these traditional medical things happening on Grey's Anatomy and plus all the sex in the closet. So it's which is fine. The point is that we can see that a lot of the outcomes, a lot of the difficult medical things that they put on the show, could be helped. We're not saying do this instead of that. We're saying add this to whatever sort of medical treatment you have. And if you know what your story is, what your essence is trying to tell you, and understand that message,
correct,
you can have good outcomes for all sorts of medical conditions, no matter how slim the statistics are.
That's correct.
It's really amazing. So if you understand that your essence is your ultimate, we call it guru. A lot of people have come to us over the years and say, we want, they don't say it explicitly, but they act like we should tell them what to do. Like we're the...
some will say directly, well, what should I do?
Yeah.
Let's clear that and see what comes up.
Our job is to teach you how to connect with the guru that's inside you, your essence.
Yeah.
Because it knows not only what the best path is for you, but in the moment, should you go right or should you go left?
Correct.
What's the best for you?
Yes.
Should you go forward?
Yes.
What decision should you make right now?
Yes.
And what decision should you not make right now?
Yes.
It's all there. You just have to learn how to listen.
Exactly. So should we do the summary of this section?
Yes, let's do that.
Go ahead.
The groundbreaking perspective is that humans have a soul, or what we call essence. It's a natural way for humans to be directed in a way that their actions in the world can be harmonious and themselves. Your soul or essence is always your ultimate guru.
Yes.
It knows who you are uniquely, what is always in your best interest, and how to live your life in a way that is happy and satisfying for you. The world, our culture, our programming cease to teach us to look outside of ourselves for the answers for life, and is in direct conflict often with our own essence.
Yeah.
When our actions and our steps in our life are in conflict with our own essence, conditions like cancer start to manifest.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be health conditions either. It could be relationship issues, money issues.
Absolutely.
All those things can be messages from your essence.
Right.
It's time to put your essence back in the center of your life using the ecosystem approach.
Exactly. So, Jason, we have a few minutes. So how about let's tell everyone how to do the clearing or removing negative energy. And then in the next segment, that's exactly what we're going to do. So go ahead.
So it's fairly simple, and you'll get better at it as time goes on. You use your imagination, because you're not really working with things in the tangible world. You're working with things in the intangible world.
Correct.
So when we say to eliminate, gather those things to eliminate, like whether they're emotions, veils and illusions, barriers, whatever they are.
Correct.
Gather them up in your body, blow them into the processor. Moxie's putting a picture of the processor up right now.
Exactly.
It's like a big trash can on wheels. It goes in, it gets processed, comes out the front neutral. It's that simple.
And then after that, we're going to activate life force.
Yeah.
And life force, the most powerful energy that any of us has access to. And we use that to heal ourselves, but we also use that to look to see if there's any more negative energies hanging around, and we remove those as well. So stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to remove the negative energy so you can start to see yourself like an ecosystem. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to remove the negative energy so you can start to see yourself like an ecosystem. Jason, are you ready?
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see the power behind my personal ecosystem, and restoring that ecosystem can create great benefit in my life.
Nice and easy. Take a breath.
Take those veils and illusions
and throw them away. Next one, I'm going to shorten it up. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that I was designed like an ecosystem, not a machine. Right now, pull it in and get rid of those veils and illusions that are keeping you believing you're a machine.
And to eliminate the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in my life, because I'm not living according to the plan from my essence.
Take a breath.
That's huge. Whew.
Stress, anxiety, get rid of it. Overwhelm. Good, good, good. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that a healthy ecosystem just grows stronger over time, where a machine breaks down with age. Nice and easy. Pull in those pull in energy, and then remove the veils and illusions. Jason?
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that my essence is the center of my ecosystem, which holds the knowing of my purpose and the best direction for my life, minute by minute, day by day, week by week, year by year. Take a breath.
And throw away those veils and illusions. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see the indications of being programmed are with words like motivated, self-disciplined, focus, and anytime I'm told how to feel or what to think. Nice and easy. Get rid of those veils and illusions. You don't need them.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that intuition is an essential capacity necessary to connect and interact with my essence. And applying the ecosystem approach, intuition is significantly activated and a natural byproduct of using the ecosystem approach.
Get rid of those veils and illusions so you can see your intuition, so you can feel it, know that it's there. And to eliminate the barrier so I can see that life force is the energy difference between dull and boring versus being full of life, happiness, and one of Jason's favorite words, va-va-voom.
Love va-va-voom, yes.
Barriers right there, throw them away.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that it is no longer instinctive to live like an ecosystem because our culture programs us to be machines and we need to relearn how to be an ecosystem.
It's true.
And you do that with using the ecosystem approach. That's why we created it.
Negative energy. Throw it in the processor, everybody. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the way for my happiness and life fulfillment will only come when I treat myself like an ecosystem, starting right now. Nice and easy. Get rid of those veils and illusions. They're blocking your happiness and fulfillment. Throw it away. Jason, should we activate life force?
Let's do that.
All right, here we go. Follow along, everyone. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force for awareness and clarity and hope and happiness and be able to see what is standing in my way by using my intuition so I can remove it and then really learn who I am and what I'm doing here, starting right now. Pull in that life force, let it go all the way in through the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Stop it. Ask it to turn around and come back up and still remove more negative energy that's blocking you from who you are. Take a breath and blow it out. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope to be healthy, vibrant, alive, have an alive ecosystem for the rest of my life.
Yes, starting right now. Take a breath. And blow out any negative energy that's blocking you from being vibrant and healthy. And activate life force so I can trust that my own essence always knows what is best for me. And if I listen, I know I'll be okay, or I'm going to say even more than okay.
You'll thrive.
You will thrive. That's exactly right. Throw it in and throw it away. Negative energy, by the way.
And to activate life force so I can decide to focus on supporting my internal ecosystem so I can create my personal oasis in my life.
Oh, that was a really nice one. I like that.
Yeah.
Pull it in. And blow out any negative energy left over. And to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and creative, be able to heal not only myself, but possibly others, have laughter and love and fun and joy, but also have and gain an understanding of not only who you are, but what you're doing here, meaning your soul purpose, your life's purpose, but also do it easily and smoothly without any struggle and blocks, starting right now. Pull it in. Tips of your toes, ask it to turn around and blow out any negative energies left over. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
Aging. But we're going to take a radical approach to aging.
Does that surprise me?
You know,
no, everyone, it doesn't.
It's, we kind of hinted at it today. Mm-hmm. We see people around us. We live in a
form of a retirement community.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Exactly.
A lot of people have second summer homes here. So it's not quite a retirement, but the people that live here full time.
Yes.
There's a golf course. We have a lake.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of recreational activities. We're close to Yosemite.
Yes.
So it's an adult playground. But even with that,
Yes.
we say that when people get together, one of the main attributes is alcohol.
Very much so.
And it's not that we're being judgmental about the alcohol. It's just that it's almost like there's this anxiety that they have that needs to be quieted with alcohol because
they're unhappy, they're not healthy, and they're bored.
they're negative. And this is what we see is that negative energy that's attached to you,
Correct,
that you've had all your life, that you could remove if you were using the ecosystem approach.
Correct.
Um, is just we could remove it.
That's correct. We do remove it. And it's the part that's very interesting to me is a lot of people will say, oh, it's too late. Why bother? Well, the answer is, why not be happy and healthy to the last breath that you have in the physical body that you have?
Yeah.
To me, that is that's living, that's life. And I see so many people that they resist it, they refuse it, they don't want to have anything to do with it.
We see it with my mom. We take care of my mom. She's 94. She has dementia. Mm-hmm. She can't hear. So when that negative energy comes in, which it does a lot, mm-hmm. You've heard these horror stories about people with dementia and acting out and being angry. And when those things come up, we see them as energies. We clear them away.
Yes.
But in a way, she hasn't taken care of any of that. Of course, she didn't know how, and frankly, no one does. We know that.
Yeah.
What we're saying is highly unique about the ecosystem approach.
Correct.
And it's not commonly understood. So we're not saying that you should have been doing this for the last 20 years.
Correct.
Because you don't know. But we're saying, hey, we know how to do it. We're going to help you do it.
Right.
It can have an amazing result.
Well, very personal to me, but I have to tell you, I have had more fun, more laughter, and more love in my aging process. But I have an awareness because of the ecosystem approach that I knew was there. I just didn't know how to access. And I am still capable of learning and enjoying life and laughing. And
that in itself is kind of unique.
It really is.
We see old people; they don't want to learn anything new. They I've always done it this way. We're learning new things all the time. We love to learn.
Yes.
Yes. We see that we're worthy of having younger people come to us.
Yes.
For advice and counsel, not to be their guru, but to because we're getting better as we age, as opposed to a lot of people that we see, and this is kind of blunt and critical, that they're getting worse. They're disintegrating. They're correct. Breaking down.
Okay.
So if this appeals to you, if the ecosystem approach says, oh my gosh, this is what I want.
That's right.
I want to be my own ecosystem. I want to have my own personal oasis. We've made it simple. Listen to our show every week. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. Yes. Right now, sign up for our free section. You'll get the weekly newsletter. When that happens, you get the list of all the clearings and what the words to say, and a little blurb about this last topic and the weekly topic, and we take it from there.
What about Facebook?
Go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org.
Okay. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.com.